He should be.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go.
I'm here, don't worry.
Hey,
Hello, Hunter.
Hello. So,
I'm a hot potato. W-ing Kane.
how is everyone doing today?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. My brain's fried, but I'm good. Other than that, I've been working all day, so.
Mine too. I don't know. I'm still exhausted, but such is life, you know. We keep keeping on. All right. So yeah, we can start with. So you both believe that trans women are women, and are you in the belief that trans women should be able to access women-only spaces, or?
Yeah, I am. I'm not sure about Hunter's stance on it because I've not really heard much of it.
Same. I agree with Harry.
Yeah. Okay, just very quickly, guys, I know Christy was meant to be my 2v2 for today, but she was unable to join because she won't be free until 5 p.m. my time. Oh, no, her time, which is 10 p.m. my time. Harry was unable to do that. Obviously, it gets late, and Harry's, he's busy tomorrow, so I've got stuck with Malaton.
Hey. Catching straight
Right,
already.
thank you, Andrea. How are you, Andrea? Right, yeah, so yeah, we can, do you want to, basically then, so the debate we can surround it on, are trans women women, and should trans women be allowed in women-only spaces?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if the debate goes well, then we can always go into other areas, such as, do you believe in GAC for minors, or?
GAC.
Gender affirming care.
I have a different stance on that.
Yeah,
what is your stance on that?
So, for me personally, I don't think that anyone maybe like under the age of 18 or 16 maybe should get gender affirming care.
Okay, what about you, Harry?
Honestly, I'm pretty much in the same stance because, like, obviously, when kids actually become teenagers, in my opinion, they're gonna start wondering stuff about themselves. But I don't think that their brain can be that developed where they know they want to get gender affirming care.
Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll start then. So okay. So you're saying trans women are women. So Andrea, thank you. Bless you. Uranian, thank you so much. You virtual. Okay. So yeah, let's start then. So what is a woman? Harry, Hunter, whichever one of you wanna. We can start it from there.
Right. Well, my definition. Well, I've only ever heard one definition of what a woman is, and the definition I hear quite a lot is obviously adult human female. Well, I do want to know what Hunter's stance on it is because I've never heard, his.
Yeah, I'm the exact same as you.
Well,
so you're in agreement that a woman is an adult human female?
Yeah.
Well, this is easy. We win.
Okay. So if we're saying, because that's our stance, the women, adult human females. So if you're saying that trans women are women, and the definition of woman is to be an adult human female, how are you placing trans women into the category of woman?
Well, I've never been asked that question before. Okay. Just bear with me because I am a little bit slow today.
No, same as me.
That's no different from the usual.
Oh no, thank you, Lala. Thank you, Catherine. Is that my rose? Thank you.
For me, it's like, I think if you are trans or whatever you might be, right, that's fair enough. And I get, when I go to debates, people always say to me that, nothing stopping a man from, like, a man dressing up as a woman to go to a woman's restaurant and all this kind of shit. But, like, I get that trans people cannot biologically change, which is fine. But I think if you identify as trans, then I think you should be called either a woman or a man, no matter what.
But then, on that basis, thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. On the basis of that, then I would argue that from your perspective, the definition of woman cannot be adult human female, right? Because then by default, now with the definition woman, adult, human, female, we can say that trans women are men, because then you would agree that a man is a potato. Michael, a man is an adult human male, and trans women are adult human males. Therefore, we would have to change the definition. So, would you consider changing your definition of?
Yeah, probably then. If I was to do it, then I would probably change my definition of that then. Because
yeah. Do you know,
and I've even spoken to trans women before who have they've said to me that they know they can never identify as a fully fledged woman, because they've even admitted that that's never going to be possible for them.
Yep.
And I have obviously begged the question then why, don't get me wrong, I am a trans, I do advocate for trans people. I have asked them then, why do you say that you're a woman if you have never, if you know that you can never fully develop into a woman?
Right. And what was the answers that you got to that?
They stayed silent.
Yeah, so this is where I think it becomes very problematic, right? I think that we're using incorrect language to define a set group of people. I think I've already said as well that I completely disagree with even calling them trans women, because I think language is very important, and I think through calling them trans women, we've kind of removed the identity of man from men who want to be women, and then what it's done, it's placed them within our category. So in doing so, we're allowing men to impede upon the rights of women, the female sex.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question for you. Why is it only trans women? Why not trans men?
Well, I think at the moment, the way I'm looking at it, I'm arguing this debate from the perspective of a woman, and how much it's actually impacted women's rights. I would argue that a woman who wants to be a man would not necessarily pose the same threats to men that a man who wants to be a woman would pose to women. Not to say I don't think women who want to be men should be in male-only spaces, and I don't think men who want to be women should be in women-only spaces. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I argue from the point of protection of women's sex-based rights in law.
Okay, fair. That's completely valid.
I understand where you come from. Yep, I do.
I've asked this to quite a few people. Because obviously the bathroom argument is it's the most common argument that people hear, but it's the most valid argument that people hear. What if there were facilities created for specifically trans people? What would
or
it
what
make
about just general nature?
Would it make people feel better if there were just trans facilities, so they actually stop going into both, women and men's facilities?
I mean, yeah, I could agree with that, but as I think Hunter was just going to say now, that there are gender neutral spaces, and I think that's kind of where our contention lies, is that we just don't want males in female spaces, because then that would eradicate or obliterate the rights that have been put in place for the female sex. So I'm all for if there's a third space, which we do have in the UK. I think we've got two.
I've only ever seen one, and that was in Liverpool.
And we don't have them here where I'm from.
Where are you from, Hunter?
I'm from Ireland, and there's only very limited, if you go to a gay bar or something like that, they'll have it. But anywhere else, there's nothing.
But then I guess maybe that could be something that could be advocated for.
That's what we're trying to do.
That's what. Oh, okay, so that's what you're trying to do. So I would like to hear your arguments as to why you believe though that trans-identified men, you would call them trans women. Why do you think that they should be in the opposite gender's space? Unless you want to concede on that, it's up to you.
Right. Well, I have heard quite a lot of cases of trans trans women going into the female spaces and raping women. Obviously, that's like it's a fucking terrible thing. But I would argue that apart from that, I'm not dismissing it or anything. They are really in there just to do one thing, and I believe that that's just to go in there and do their business and then leave.
Yeah, but then I think what it is, it's the privacy part, because women were afforded the rights for three of these specific single-sex spaces for three specific reasons, and they were for privacy, dignity, and safety. Now, let's just say there is a man who wants to be a woman, and he's really lovely and really kind and caring and loving and all of that. Unfortunately, we can't objectively tell who's a danger to us or not, right? We're not going to know. So whilst let's even say we remove the safety aspect from it, we still have the privacy and dignity factor to factor into this. And I think that any male entering a female space is violating the privacy and dignity also. I think, so that's...
Give me 2 secs. I'll be back.
Yeah, take your time.
Appreciate it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Harry, do you think that these trans-identifying men who don't have a GRC should be allowed access to women's spaces?
Did you say a G or a C?
GRC, Gender Recognition Certificate.
I thought you said G or C. Sorry,
sorry, it's my accent.
I'm very, very uneducated when it comes to actual scientific terms. I will admit that. Could you elaborate on that a bit more for me?
It's not scientific. It's a document. The Gender Recognition Certificate is basically a piece of paper that you can get to change your sex markers from M to F to show that you've changed gender.
Actually showing your biological gender okay, so well, that's a tough one. In my head it is anyway. Honestly, if they go in there and they say that they they are women, but if they fail to show any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? All the terms are just leaving my head and I don't know why. If they don't show any kind of paperwork or as you said, a certificate, then I honestly believe that at that point they should be denied access, in my opinion.
Right. So I'm really not sure what your answer to that was. So do you think that if they have the GRC that they should be allowed access to women's spaces?
Well, if they go in there and they show the GRC and it's different to what they're identifying as, then I would say they should be again denied access.
Okay. I don't know if you're fully grasping the concept of the GRC. So it's just like the passport office, license offices and places like that. That would really see a GRC when they go to change their SMEX marker on their IDs, etc. That's sort of the purpose of it. We wouldn't ask somebody to produce a GRC in a bathroom. We're not actually allowed to ask to see your GRC, so the paper's pointless. So where it's kind of going with it is because we're not allowed to ask for it, we're not allowed to see it. Do you think I'm going to be any more or less comfortable with a male in my space, considering regardless of the GRC, we don't know if he has one or not? Do you think that when I see a man walk into the room, it would actually make me more comfortable that he would have a piece of paper to say that he's a woman?
In your case specifically, I would say that even at that point, you probably, not even probably, you would still feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, because a piece of paper is not going to change what I've just observed, is it?
Yeah.
Even if I'm like, excuse me, sir, why are you here? And he's like, oh, I've got a GRC. That doesn't change my feelings towards witnessing a male in my space, would it?
Yeah, fair enough. Hunter, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm in between this and I have a meeting, so
Okay.
you're all good. What was the question or what was the topic about? Sorry.
Go on, Melissa, do you want to ask?
The GRC.
GRC. Ooh.
Yeah, do you think that if somebody has a GRC, do you think that should permit them to enter the opposite sex's space?
That's a good question. Yes and no. Yes, if the person is genuine and they do have a GRC, but again, anyone, especially where I'm from, anyone can go and get a GRC. You know?
So how would you, so I'll ask you, Hunter, how would you know if somebody's genuine about it?
This is the thing, you don't.
You don't.
You know, and I think that's where, like, trans people, that's where, like, most people are like, oh, people are, like, no one's stopping a trans woman from going to the bathroom and raping someone or doing that. I'm like, yes, but again, no one is stopping a male going to a woman's bathroom and doing that, you know? So it's like, it's not all trans people that do it, and I think that's where trans people get a really bad name, because, yeah.
Right. So do you think that, so what are your views then when it comes to like, I don't know, you probably call us TERFs or something like that, because obviously we're going to exclude this demographic of male.
Is TERF like another term for a GC? Or?
Sorry?
Is there TERF another term for a GC?
Well, I think so. I don't know. I just, is it trans exclusionary radical feminist? But I wouldn't necessarily call myself a feminist, not this kind of feminist, because they believe that trans women are women, which is very illogical. I can't grasp that concept. So yeah, I guess, so what would your views be on women who don't want to allow trans women into women-only spaces?
You know, I understand it completely, right? And I'm not trying to, like, not disagree, but I'm not trying to make your opinions valid. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Simple, right? But I think it's, you know, no one can stop someone from going into the bathroom, you know? Like, no one can. Unless there's, like, security guards that check IDs, you know what I mean?
Well, I think like we could go back to like social policing. I think this is the way we used to manage these spaces prior to all of this happening. I think if we see a man trying to access a women-only space, I think people should get involved, and I think people should prevent that man from going into the space, and he should absolutely be removed from the space. I don't think this, but to me, like, gender identity is a made-up concept that a certain demographic of people want to kind of like believe. And that's okay to have your belief system, but I don't think a belief system should supersede, a biological reality in which we live in. Because as we can see that men who want to be women, they retain male pattern behavior. And the same regarding crime. They have male pattern criminality behavior. So I think that I agree with you in the sense that we can't physically stop, like right now, if there was a man and he just, you know, didn't even identify as a woman or whatever, he can just walk in. There's no like invisible barrier stopping him doing that. Thank you, Lala. There's nothing stopping him from going in there. But it's a level of safeguarding. That little picture on the door actually does deter people. It's the same way as, say, like, an employees only or staff only. If you go to a restaurant and there's a door there that says staff only, I'd, you know, beg to differ how many people are actually just going to walk in through that door, you know?
Yeah, I get you. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, so it's a level of safeguarding, because some men that go out to commit these crimes are opportunists. you know,
Yeah.
and they just want to, if they can see an opportunity, then they're absolutely going to take it. So I think,
Totally.
Tyler, I don't care, my guy. Do me a favor, Peely, Pili, whatever. Go cry to your mum about it. And secondly, my guy, just go to the search bar, type in Envyy, and then block, you cock. So.
And I want to say this to you, Steve, start here. Thank you for being so respectful. It means a lot.
I appreciate these conversations. I think it's important to have. So no, and I thank you too for, we're keeping it civil for now.
I did say to Hunter beforehand, come into the debate with good faith.
Yeah, of
because
course.
I knew you were going to do the same.
Always,
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that's like, if you respect me, I will 100% respect you back.
But this is the thing. I think I know where our contention is going to lie. Me and you, Hunter.
Yeah.
So, what are the pronouns? What are your preferred pronouns?
My pronouns are he, they.
See, this is where I
can tell this is where she's like gonna differ with the pronouns a little bit.
Yeah. So okay, here's Malatov, you go. Malatov, you go first, and then Hunter, I've got a question for you.
Okay, awesome.
As you know, gender criticals, we don't go along with the preferred pronoun game. We know and acknowledge that pronouns are sex based, and that's the way it works. It's how we protect women in law and language, by protecting our language, which is meant for us, with the she, her. Personally, I think he, they that's a bit of a stretch, because we can tell from your voice that you're a woman, the way you look that you're a woman. And does it not become really exhausting when you have to keep correcting people over these preferred pronouns?
No, not for me. I don't correct people on them.
Do you not?
No.
Wait, hang on, Hunter. I've been in your live and you've corrected people before.
Oh? Well, okay. Some people that are generally...
Hunter, can I ask you just a very, very quick question? Harry, very quick question. If there is anybody else that is on your side of the argument, are you comfortable, like, with you guys? Like, you might not have met them, but are you okay with me letting other opposition up that's against me and Malatov also? Or...
Yeah, of course. I mean, honestly, I have no objection against it. Like, if they're ops, they're ops. If they're friendlies, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking to let any more friendlies on my side up. It will just be me and Malatov, but I'm happy to get more opposition.
Okay. Actually, I do have a question for you really quick, just Malatov and Envyy. Because obviously, the trans community and just the LGBT in general, obviously they use cis to refer to, the biological men and women. Do you think it's a slur at all? Because I've heard that be discussed quite a few times.
I'm so sorry. Oh, very quickly. 52, Elijah. Can I get your age, please?
28.
And do you believe that trans women are women?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right, then, that's fine. Okay. So, sorry, Harry, could you repeat your question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So, do you think the term cis is a slur?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, and I'm happy to run through that with you.
Yeah, of course.
I just want to run through just very quickly. Are you guys separating gender and sex?
Yeah. Honestly, I am. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So am I correct in saying that you would, including you, Elijah, that you would say that gender is a social construct?
I would agree. Yeah.
Personally, I've never made that argument.
Oh, okay. Hunter, and yourself?
It's hard to explain, but yes and no. Like, I do believe it's a social construct, but also I don't. Also, it's hard to explain.
Okay, all right. Well, if you want to take a little time, maybe think and you can bring with that. Elijah, can you let me know what you think? What is so? Could you define gender for me, and then also sex?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I know there's a lot of like extreme situations occurring, like in regards to the trans community, like obviously males are
right. You heard that first, everyone. Males are
Well, I would say in general, I mean, let's just be real, like, who's, like, committing majority, like, of these crimes, right? It's like, males, I would assume, no?
Yes.
Yeah, what are trans identified men?
But, like, I don't know, for me, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're going to go through all the trouble of, like, transitioning and changing, like, who you are as a person, like, because you don't feel comfortable in your own skin,
right?
I don't see what's wrong with that. Like, and I feel
I think this would change the debate, right? Because then what we're going into is, should people be allowed to transition and things like that, which that's not kind of what we're discussing now. Me personally, I will say this is obviously my opinion. I don't believe a hardware fix to a software problem is the solution for any problem. You know, I think if for any internalized issue that anybody is facing, I don't think an external fix to it will solve that problem. We can get into that debate if you want to, but I'd rather stick on to kind of like, what a woman is, what is gender, and then we can branch off and go into that if you'd like to.
No, yeah, and I get you as well. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's like, so like even somebody with like body dysmorphia, I would disagree that the solution to that body dysmorphia, if they think like me, oh shit, I've got a big nose, I don't think breaking my nose down and smashing it apart and reshaping it is going to fix my problem, because if body dysmorphia is some type of mental disorder, what I'm going to do then is probably, once I change my nose, it's going to kind of change like my face in a way, and then I would find another issue to hyperfixate on, and then I'm looking to fix that issue. Then it goes so on and so forth. And I just think that that would kind of apply across the board. So I'm not against cosmetic surgeries as a whole anyway. Not to say I'm judging anyone for doing it. Like, you are an adult. You have the right to your own bodily autonomy. You're going to do what you're going to do. So you do have that right. But I just don't think, for me personally, cosmetic surgery as a whole, unless it's medically necessary, then, for example, if there are women with like large chests, if you know what I mean, and it's causing like back pain and things like that, then I wouldn't be opposed.
Of course.
For a breast reduction or something like that. But other than that, I'm like, oh no. We've got women that are getting BBLs and things like that. I just don't see it being something healthy for the body. I think we need to reinforce body positivity within society. We're creating unobtainable beauty standards via social media and TV and things like that. There's so much like Photoshop, airbrushes, and what we're doing is we're trying to obtain something we can't. So I think we need to just start reinforcing body positivity. And if there is something that you feel isn't right for you, we need to teach children and people to love yourself for who you are and accept yourself for who you are. Not to try. That's what my issue is with gender affirming care. I actually do call it gender denying care, because you're denying your gender to try to be something that you are not. And I think it's very harmful.
That's interesting. I agree with you for the most part, honestly. The only thing,
what would you disagree with there, Elijah?
The only thing I would say, I suppose, is that in comparison that you gave, let's say, like, with nose, to me, that's a drastically different, like, even framework to having, like, to say that you're uncomfortable with your own nose. I feel like that's something that you can get over, in time at least, or that you can at least be.
Hey, Catherine, thank you, Terminator. Thank you.
Of course, but not being with gender roles, I feel like that's an added, I don't want to say pressure, but it completely changes, I don't know, the way that if you're already not comfortable, like, in your own body, like, I feel like all of the effort and work, and I mean, I'm honestly naive to the process myself, but I mean, I can't imagine you'd go through that just on a whim, right?
To change my nose?
No, sex.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry, my bad. So, just very quickly, can you define gender for me? Like, what are you defining gender as?
I would say...
No, Gemma, I haven't made enough yet. All right? I've got bills to pay too, dummy. Don't worry.
I guess I don't know the exact definition, but I would say gender is like...
Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I guess I can't define it.
Okay, right. Okay, so and this is where the issue is, right? If we are trying to establish this belief system within society, I will say that it is something that would need to be explained cohesively. So we would need to make it logistic so we can understand what it is and how we work with that. So my definition of gender is that it describes the state of being male or female. If you receive your doctor's letters, I don't know if you, Harry, run for yourself, it will say gender and then it says female. Well, that's what I would get, gender and then female. The terms man, woman, boy, girl are merely stages of development for either or sex. So we know that when we say boy, we know we are speaking of an adolescent human male. When we say girl, adolescent human female. Thank you, Michael. Bless you. When we say woman, we know we're speaking of an adult human female. Man, we know we are speaking of an adult human male. The same way we would apply that to all mammalians. Like, for example, we would have chickens, right? We don't run around saying, oh, I want an adult female chicken. We say I want a hen. I don't want an adult male chicken. I want a rooster, for example. So the terms man, woman, boy, girl are just merely to describe the stages of development. And I do understand over the last maybe 10, 20 years, I don't know how long, that we've somehow separated gender from sex and we've morphed gender into some type of social construct. And I feel at that point what we've done is we have conflated gender roles with gender. So via your definition, if we are to say that gender is a social construct, then I would argue that gender dysphoria is merely a social construct dysphoria. So you have a dysphoria to a social construct that is man-made out of potatoes. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you saw, I have to go in like 5 minutes. I have it time.
Yeah, no, that's no worries, Hunter, no problem at all. Anyone would like to respond to that? Elijah, Hunter, Harry?
I did want to say thank you. Like, I'm honestly not very well articulated.
No, that's fine. I don't want. No. You're okay. You're absolutely fine. Just you can just throw out your thoughts and we can just have a quick conversation. You know, not everybody is. Because I've been doing this a while. So.
No, yeah, right.
So, do you think that what you call them trans women? Do you think that they should be in women-only spaces, Elijah? Or?
It's really hard to say, you know, because like what was said earlier, you know, you can't really see the intent until, you know, it goes one way or the other. So,
would you have an issue with women who are saying that they don't want trans women in women's spaces?
Of course, it's hard for me to. I honestly sympathize with both sides, you know, because of course I don't want to see like anyone getting hurt or ambushed, you know. At the same time, I also can't imagine like, and I don't have any personal experience in this, but it's hard for me to, you know, I myself have my own like self-doubt and everything, and if just like general like life stuff, I guess.
Okay. So you basically, are you saying like you're kind of like confused in terms of like, because I don't know what you think about this, Harry, right? Do you think it's possible to support both sides of the argument? Like, is it possible to support transgender ideology alongside supporting women's rights?
I would hope so, because I feel like it's. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that this is nuanced, but I feel like, I mean, people have been having these feelings for, you know, like hundreds of years, right? Like, this isn't a new thing that's happening. I feel like it's just the way that our society is now, that you know, there's one side and then there's an opposing side, and
I would argue that men trying to be women under law is a new thing. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I'll agree that, yes, I'm pretty sure that there have been people throughout time that have wanted to be the opposite sex, you know. But as Malatov said, it's relatively new that we are trying to implement males into the female category in terms of like legality.
right.
So I think that's where the contention is lying, and I think what the reason why we're at this place is because we have incorrectly categorized these men, and like I said earlier, we've removed the identity of men from men, and I think that's kind of where the problem lies. So I've taken a very, very, let's say, harsher stance to this situation, because I think it's detrimental to the rights of women, and by saying that, you know, like even if we say that trans women, like, when I asked you, trans women, you said yes. So could I ask you, like, are you able to define woman for me, or is that something that you're not too sure on?
I mean, I'll try. I was thinking, like, I guess to me a woman, honestly, God, it's so, because I don't want to be contradictory, of course.
Right.
I would say a woman is a person that has the aspects physically of a woman, generally, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
when you say aspects, when you say aspects, guys, opposition only. If you do believe that trans women are women, feel free to request the panel. I do have 2 oppositions. We've got 2 friendlies. I'm not looking to fill the panel, so if we do have opposition, or you want to come up and answer the backdrop as an opposition, feel free to request. So when you say aspects, so a woman is somebody who has the aspects of a woman.
Physical traits.
Physical. So what would that be? Are we talking about adult? Because first, in order for you to make that statement that a woman is somebody who has the physical aspects of a woman, we haven't defined what woman is first, right? So if I was to say to you a woman is an adult human female, then would you agree or disagree with that statement?
I would agree with that statement.
Okay.
generally. Yeah.
Okay, so we agree. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement that a woman is an adult human female. And so what you are saying is a woman is anybody who has the physical aspects of an adult human female.
Well, generally, probably yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what aspects are you saying? What are you taking on? Like, what would you say the aspect is?
Like breasts and, private parts.
Right. Okay. So my thing with that would be like men. Have you heard of gynecomastia?
Probably. What is that?
Gynecomastia is like men who grow like breast tissue.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but then again, so that could not be, because it would have to be something that is exclusive to either or, right? So if men can, because some men have higher levels of estrogen, which then causes them to develop gynecomastia, but then
Sure.
we necessarily we wouldn't then turn around and say, oh, okay, well, he has an aspect of an adult human female, therefore we are now going to place him within the woman's category, if that makes sense.
Is that, no, yeah, I get what you're saying with that. Is that, is there a high percentage of that?
I don't know what the percentage is. Let me check that out, actually.
Not to...
No, I'm curious about the numbers as well. So this isn't like, no. I'd like to know myself. IK, can I get your age, please?
I'm 31.
And do you believe that trans women are women?
I believe that trans women are trans women. I don't believe that they are women necessarily, because women are born with ovaries, they are born with fallopian tubes, they're born with the risk of getting cancer in these regions and having to remove these things. They can't just add them on. There's a lot of hormonal factors that come into being a made woman and being a born woman. So there is definitely a huge difference.
Just very quickly. Thank you for answering. So actually, Elijah, looking at the numbers, it's actually up to 60% of men may experience it at some point in their lives. So up to 65% of adolescent males may develop gynecomastia during puberty. But
Oh, wow.
then it does take a few years, and it can be resolved on its own. So that's over half.
Yeah.
So are we saying, right, I know this isn't what you're actually saying, but just via kind of like your whole aspecting, are we saying that 65% of the male sex at some point are actually women because of their gynecomastia?
All right. No, yeah, I get, yeah. I did not expect that to be something.
No, I didn't either. I thought it was going to be like 2% or something.
But no,
like, shit.
of course not.
And approximately 24 to 65% of men between the ages of 50 and 80 years old experience gynecomastia. So also, okay, very quickly, so do you believe that trans women, I know you're saying that they are not women, but you are saying that they are like a made woman. So do you believe that they should be able to access women-only spaces?
Depending on the women-only space, and it also depends on if the women are willing to welcome that energy in. I mean, it can be different in different scenarios. Some women are very open to welcoming in the trans women community to their spaces, but there again is that huge factor. A trans woman can still be producing testosterone, which makes her balance a lot different. Not to say women don't create testosterone. There are some women that have high testosterone, but what men create in their body naturally versus what a woman can create in their body naturally is extremely different. So even though you add the boobs and you add the vagina and you take the estrogen medication, there still is a huge dividing factor. And I'm not saying that trans women can't identify as being
similar to women or being almost a woman, but there's always going to be that big fine line gap until science finds a way to change it, that a woman can be born with ovaries. A woman is born with the potential to go through ovarian cancer, to have a hysterectomy, to lose a child, to end up pregnant by mistake because someone SA'd them, you know, as a young child. These are things that trans women don't necessarily have to go through in their growing up stages, and that's the defining factor is you didn't go through those stages that a woman has to go through puberty, you know. And I'm not saying they don't go through their own puberty either, because they do go through their own stage of puberty when they're taking these estrogen medications, but is it extremely different. And I think that trans women should just own the fact that they are trans women, because that's a beautiful thing. And
what is a trans woman? And then once you answer that question, and I would disagree that they are going through some type of puberty. You'll either go through a male or female puberty. No male can go through a female puberty.
Well, the only reason I said that is because when you're taking those estrogen medications, or even a female going to a male state, when they're taking those medications, they are going through that transitioning, the quote-unquote transitioning stage. That is very similar to what we're going through when we're going from child to adult. You know, we're going through a transition period, we're going through an awkward stage, we're going through hormonal changes. And I'm not saying that it is exactly like puberty, because there is, again, a huge fine line, a huge difference. But they do have that stage where it can be considered similar to puberty, but I do not think that trans women are in and of itself women, because we have to go through so much as women.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, thank you. Just a comment on that, I guess. What I feel like I'm getting from that is that, do you feel that trans women take away from, like, the woman experience? Like,
no, I mean, they can't, right? Like, on the natural, like, aspect of things, it would be impossible for them to take away from it. But I think it's extremely disrespectful to compare to it, or to make a statement that I go through something like you. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
They really genuinely don't. They don't go through any type of female puberty. They don't go through what they are experiencing.
No periods.
Yeah, they won't be going through any type of period. Nothing. All they're doing is changing the fat distribution in their body by the synthetic estrogen that they are using, and they're just developing gynecomastia. So they're just men with gynecomastia. That's all that they are. And I know, IK, you're saying that, like, trans women are trans women, but what is that? Like, in order to be a trans woman, what must you be?
A trans woman is more so you appear as a woman, you act like a woman, but on the inside, in that core of core, you're still who you were born as.
Sorry, can you say that again?
That a trans woman is still is just that, a trans woman. They have the physicalities of a woman. They look like a woman. They might even be even more elegant than some women. But from the core, from the depth, they're still who they were born as.
To do with it.
Just very quickly, we'll do like a little thing. I didn't know Ozzy Osbourne passed away. Do you want to quickly tell everyone what happened? Because obviously we're in the debate and I don't want it to obviously distract and stuff. So do you want
I only put this up because the comments are flying about it.
I just saw it.
Okay.
He passed away, unfortunately.
Do you know how?
The family statement, but he's been battling with illness for a while.
Ozzy.
He only had his last name,
Yeah, sorry, all right, we'll get back to the debate. Go ahead. So,
Keru, what has elegance got to do with it?
She asked me what I believe a trans is, and so my response was that a trans is just physical changes of a woman. You can appear to look like a woman. You can even sound like a woman, and you might even be more elegant than some women. But from the core to the depth, you're still who you were born as, which would be a man.
Yeah, because women aren't measured by metrics such as femininity or elegance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So then, would you say that, because when I asked you the question, should these men who want to be women be able to access women-only spaces, you said some. So could you kind of like list out the spaces that they can and can't be in, or?
So what I referenced was it depends on that group of women. You know, if a group of women have their own female, because every female space is different. If a group of women are sitting in a female space, and let's say it could be anywhere, it could be the gym, it could be eating. If that group of women is willing to accept that trans woman, then they should be welcomed into that area. But it all depends. It's you can't put a measurement on where they really belong. However, when it comes to things like the Olympics and stuff like that, I definitely think, again, there should be a fine line. There should be a section just for trans women. There should be a section just for trans men, because you still have that core of core. You're saying that because you look like a woman that you can do things women can do, but we all know that men and women have different testosterone levels. Men and women, though women can do what men do, there are things that men can just do better. Let's be honest. They have more
sorry, just because you're saying a lot of things, and there's a few things that just need to be addressed. When you're saying that one of them going in with a group of women, like that the women can consent for this man who thinks he's a woman to go in, but that's not really true, is it?
It is, because anyone can consent to anything. You have
no. I think you've misunderstood. You've misunderstood me. If you're in a group of 5 women and you have a trans-identified man with you, and we're going to the bathroom, I'm on my own and you're with a group, you can't consent for me that I think it's okay that man's in there.
I didn't say that.
Transferable.
I said if the group consents to allowing this trans into their space, that being the whole group. One person can specifically say, well, hey, you can come in even though these 4 women are disturbed by it. I said if that group is willing to accept that trans in that space at that time, then that's their choice.
What space are we talking about here?
Well, you were just talking about a bathroom, and I said in general any space. It all depends on consent and that group of women at that time.
Well, no, because these spaces are publicly accessed, to all women. So even though there might be a group where you're all okay and will kiki with this guy, that doesn't mean that the next woman's going to come in or come out of a stall and see you all. Like, unless you're...
I didn't say bathroom. You said bathroom. I didn't say...
I asked you to clarify the space, and then
I did, and I said I didn't clarify a space. I said a general space. You keep going back to the bathroom in a public space. That's fine. That's your debate. That's fine. And if your group of women don't want... I'm not saying I would want a trans in the bathroom with me either. That's not what I said at all. What I said is it depends on the group of women, because we all get to consent to our own...
Very quickly, who blocked Goose? One of the mods, somebody blocked Goose from the live?
I don't know.
Well, I just got a thing. Anyone? Which mod blocked?
Oh, I'm not mod on this account. I can't have a look. But I said which space, and you said, I don't know. We've been talking about the bathroom.
I just got here, so I don't know what you were talking about before I got here. But what I said specifically was I wasn't selecting a place. I was talking as a general blanket statement, because
I asked you to.
It's different. I don't want to do what you said. I understand you're asking, but I don't have to specifically... Because I can't speak for other women. I can speak for myself, and like I said for myself, I wouldn't want a trans man or trans woman in a bathroom with me, is what I said. But I'm not going to speak for a whole group of women when every woman has the free volition of speaking for themselves. And I said that it depends on that group. And I didn't say specifically a bathroom because I also mentioned the gym. It also depends on who's the owner of this establishment, because if that owner of the establishment wants that way, it's their free volition to say that they want it that way. And if you want to make your own gym where you don't want trans women in there, you have the free volition to do that. And I don't think anyone should make you feel like you're counting someone out or anything like that, because you have the right to say, well, I don't feel you're to the equality of women. I feel like you have your own bracket, and that's okay.
Okay, so what we're talking about is privately owned versus public spaces.
But I would even argue, I don't know, I would have to double check the law, but I think it's actually mandatory for there to be male and female only spaces. And I would argue that you are kind of, by saying like it's a group of women, I can't grasp any concept or any like situation or space where we're going to say, like, if we use the gym, bathroom, whatever it is, and we say, oh, you know, there's a man who wants to be a woman and he's hanging around all of his women friends. And then they say, oh, we're going to the toilet, come with us, right? Whilst there may not be any women in that space at the time, and then these women go in with the man, other women will be coming in and out as it happens.
So what you can do as
that would be them basically consenting for other women. And, sorry?
You can petition that the gym make a trans bathroom. That's where we come into play. You know, people aren't just going to do things. It takes people to speak up and stand against it and say, hey, I respect that you want to have trans in your gym. Can you make a trans bathroom? Can you make a trans bathroom? I'm just talking in general because we went from I didn't know what space you were talking about specifically. Then we were talking about bathrooms, so I'm just referring to those spaces now.
Yeah, but when the gym that you're speaking of now, is this like a mixed gym or is it a women-only gym?
Well, you spoke about men and women's only places, so
so we're talking about women's only gym. So he shouldn't be allowed in the gym full stop. So why were we making a space for them in the gym?
Well, it depends on the gym. Maybe the gym is owned by a trans person who wants to have trans and women together. Maybe it's owned by
but then they shouldn't title it a women's only gym.
But then that's when you have to go and petition. That's when you have to go and speak out.
Yeah, no,
because
I don't.
Because people that make mistakes.
Yeah, no, women actually don't. And I urge every woman in here, you don't need to advocate on the behalf of men who want to be women. All we need to do, women, is hold the line on what is ours. They can worry about the rest. We don't need to do that. We've got enough shit going on. We bleed every month. We have babies. We've got stuff to do. You know, I ain't got time to run around because there's a cock in a frock that wants to come into my space, and then I'm going to sit there with a little picket sign and say, oh, let him have his own space. Nobody's got time for that.
It's not about him, though. It's about your comfortability. So if you want that comfortability, you have to make that comfortability. At the end of the day, trans women exist. You can't make them not exist. So if you want your own space, you have to say it, because no one's going to read your mind or do it for you.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely saying, no, yeah, but there's a difference here. There's a difference between us saying that we don't want them in our spaces as opposed to advocating for them to get a third space. You see what I mean? I'm not going to take up, my battle is to keep them out.
And I respect that. And I'm not saying you need to advocate for them. What I'm saying is you're advocating for yourself. In the same breath, you might be advocating for them, but you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. So if you have this gym that you love going to, and you notice that this trans person is coming into the bathroom and it's making you feel uncomfortable, the owner, he's in Malibu right now sipping on a Mai Tai. Okay, he's not at the gym. He doesn't know who's coming in and out of his gym. So unless you say something or do
Christy,
something,
timed out, re-request, babe.
Unless you say something or do something, they're not going to change anything because they don't know what's happening. They're sipping on their Mai Tai. They're taking selfies and posting on TikTok. They don't know. They don't care. And so it's not advocating for them, it's advocating for yourself so you can have that peace of mind, so you can have that safety. Because we're in a really awkward stage of life.
So this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing if women don't advocate or speak out for a space for trans people, then they are just going to infiltrate our space, right?
Just like
That's
in
like
history, just like with all the
tactic.
wars that occurred in history.